Revolution comes not from the edge of mystery, but from the cracked spine of reality itself. It's a signal caught between the teeth of billion-dollar lies and $10 dreams. And if you're tuning in now, you're ready for the real story, the story they don't want on the airwaves. Let's begin. They say socialism is un-American, that it's the enemy of freedom. But I've been wandering these streets long enough to know a con when I see one. And this con's been running since the ink dried on the Constitution. Let's talk names. The far right points to Nazi Germany and shouts, "See, it was socialist," because they see the word, socialist. But the Nazis weren't socialists. They crushed unions, jailed leftists, made deals with industrial giants who bankrolled the right. It was fascism wearing a worker's jacket. That's not socialism. That's bait and betrayal. They twist history again and say, but the Democrats founded the KKK. And sure, at one point they did. But parties evolve. The racists ran for the exits when civil rights became law. And they found refuge in a party that welcomed their resentment. History isn't a straight line. It's a spiral. And we've been walking in circles. Now here's the paradox. America is already socialist. We just don't say it out loud. Our military, paid for with tax dollars. Roads, schools, libraries, sewers, firefighters, your kid's teacher, your grandma's nurse, the water you drink. Socialism in action. But the word has been turned radioactive. Every time a cop cashes a paycheck, every time a soldier gets health care, every time you borrow a book from a public library, that's socialism. Yet some of those same public servants defend a system that suppresses the very people who pay their salaries. Meanwhile, the elites talk about ROI, return on investment. But the only one getting returns are billionaires who dodge taxes, then get bailed out when their greed hits a wall. We bail out their mistakes while denying ourselves education, housing, health care, and child care, basic rights, human rights. And let's get this straight. Capitalism isn't in the Constitution, not even mentioned. In fact, the founders warned us about monopolies, about concentrated wealth, about corporate overreach. The Boston Tea Party, that wasn't about taxes. It was about one giant corporation, the East India Company, getting a massive tax break, trying to crush small independent merchants and call them smugglers. That was economic resistance. That was a protest against corporate welfare. So when we talk about democratic socialism, we're talking about America, about fairness, about investing in each other, making sure our tax dollars actually go to us, to our children, to our neighbors, to our community. Because we want an ROI, a return on our humanity, on our compassion, on our promise. That's good business. That's being a good Christian. That's a good America that can live up to what it pretends to be. We who share shall not despair. We just want to live educated, healthy, safe, and dignified lives in the richest nation on earth, with the soul of a neighbor and the heart of peace, love, and justice. Now, all that said, let's look even deeper. You want to talk American values? Let's talk fairness. Let's talk compassion. Let's talk democratic socialism. It's not foreign. It's not fringe. It's the desire for health care without bankruptcy, for education without lifelong debt, for housing without humiliation. It's asking for a return on what we already paid into. We're not asking for handouts. We're asking for dignity. And tonight we remember how many good hearts were lost chasing crumbs beneath trillion-dollar tables. They say that socialism is the enemy of the American way. Beware the red menace lurking in your local union hall. Martin Luther King said, "Injustice in health is the most shocking and inhuman because it often results in physical death." FDR said, "Necessitous men are not free men. Economic security is essential to democracy." Meanwhile, military ads promise honor, but forget to mention corporate contracts worth billions. Senators cry fiscal responsibility while defending oil subsidies and yacht loopholes. They say that the billionaires are job creators. We must protect their capital interests. Protect the people first, damn it, because when the rich fall, the poor pay the bill. These bastards privatize the gains and socialize the pain. Weird how capitalists rely on socialism for them and the repercussions of a failed capitalist society for us. We're punishing ourselves for their sins. We tell our poor neighbors and countrymen to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, but rush to bail out those poor billionaires, corporate welfare queens, and these, our own public servants, defend capitalism tooth and nail while cashing tax-funded checks. Their health care, socialist. Their pension, socialist. Their cruiser and badge and training, bought by the very people they turn their baton against. Capitalism says, return on investment. But where's ours? We bailed out billionaires. We watched banks swallow homes and CEOs swallow bonuses. And when the dust settled, we were told to tighten belts, clip coupons, and thank the system. What do we get in return? Cracked streets, underfunded schools, medical bankruptcy, and politicians who tell us we can't afford clean drinking water. Right after approving another weapons deal, and much like the Boston Tea Party, they called patriots who dare challenge their corporate authority criminals. Folks, it was a bailout for a Crown-funded megacorp, and the people threw the tea in the harbor. Folks, to be honest, I'm getting pissed off just thinking about it. I'm madder than a hornet. Let's take a quick break before we continue. Welcome back, Patriots, sponsored by the Billionaire Bailout Fund. Since 2008, robbing with style. Looking for trickle-down solutions? Try our trickle-down goblets, where crumbs taste like champagne. Or maybe smuggler's tea brewed with premium East India Monopoly leaves. Feeling free? Have a Freedom Fry, made in our offshore factory for your freedom, not your wages. Capitalism's greatest hits, now available wherever irony isn't banned. And we're back. My brothers and sisters, the Bible laid out a blueprint for building the church if we ever wanted to experience the favor of God, to witness signs and wonders, much like the blueprints for the Ark or Solomon's Temple, which, if either had been deviated from, both would have failed. The book of Acts was the blueprint for that church. It says they had all things in common. All things in common. If you want to experience the road to heaven on earth, you start there. And maybe that's what scares the capitalist church the most. That real Christianity means sharing, means investing in each other. We don't want yachts. We want clean water. We want a warm home. We want books in the hands of our kids and medicine in the cabinet. We want to live with dignity because we're not just citizens. We're human beings And that's the highest form of patriotism. And the highest form of Christianity is actually following the two commandments given by Jesus himself. Yes, just two. First, to love your God with all your heart. The second is like it, in that we should love our brothers and sisters as he has loved us. And now, you know how the story goes. Joe Wanders, signing off.